bring together a group of remarkable people to see if we could become something new. So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
Doesn't matter what you did, what you were. You are an Avenger.
Hello guys, Anakin back again for my last Road to Infinity War review. But currently I have not seen Avengers yet because I really wanted to put a part in the beginning of this video talking about what the MCU means to me, what the MCU has done for my life, what the MCU really, what this movie means to me all these years later. And plus, I wanted to have both sets in each of this video, so doubles. But I'll link it below, and I may or may not show clips of this. But there was another person on YouTube named MCUExchange who did a Road to Infinity War of their own. But instead of reviewing every single Marvel Universe movie, he did a mashup, or basically a supercut of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And ever since I found that, I have been sparingly rewatching it every couple days or so, but this morning was the first time that it really hit me, hard, that the MCU at this point, 10 years down the road, it really is what a lot of people, it means a lot to people. And it means a lot to fans, thousands, millions of fans around the world. It means so much to me because none of this would be possible. All of this, my channel, everything that I've ever built, any shred of creativity that I've ever had in my bones would not have been possible without Iron Man. It wouldn't have been possible without this universe. I wouldn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. I wouldn't know who the Avengers are. I wouldn't have such burning passion for superheroes, for comic books. I wouldn't have anything of that. And a lot of that is what makes me me. And a lot of it is what makes the Marvel Cinematic Universe so special, because Iron Man was what brought me into this universe. It's what brought me into comics. It's what put me, even as a 5-year-old kid, even more into what I believed was superheroes and comic books, even than I already was before. And I really cannot believe that it's been 10 years. I woke up this morning and I thought of my very first memory of the Marvel Universe. And I was 5 years old, so I'm surprised I still even remember this. But I remember in the theater and seeing the letters turn and the and you see the words Iron Man. And I remember that hitting me hard, because I knew that it was special. And I knew going home that day when I asked my dad, after hearing the Avenger Initiative, what are the Avengers? Who is Iron Man? And right then and there, my dad opened up just a floodgate of everything that I would ever love as a fan, that I would every single day that I would ever devote my life to, just wanting to know as much as I could, to wanting to be more of a fan, to be more passionate, to be just more invested in these characters for the past 10 years. And I cannot thank my dad for that, because a lot of that is what makes me me. A lot of that is what drives my passion to do a lot of the stuff I do in my life. And I cannot thank, most of all, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau for getting this universe off the ground, the Russo brothers for agreeing to make this movie, and Kevin Feige most of all for building a universe for all of us. Building a universe that I can say is one of the defining moments, or defining years of my childhood. I just cannot be more thankful. Now, again, I'm going to say this, but the next cut that I make in this video, I would have already seen Avengers Infinity War. Well, finally, after 10 years of countless hours of watching all of these movies, the movies you see behind me, the movies that have came out, after countless hours and days of speculation, of years of anticipation, I have finally seen Avengers Infinity War. I waited long enough to watch this movie. I waited all this time, all the way to Sunday, and believe me, it was really hard to stay away from spoilers, whether it was me shutting myself down, not going on any type of internet, social media, whatever, having people yell at me at school, just yelling spoilers at me because they just wanted to be mean, but I made it. I came into this movie completely clean, and I'm not going to stop or say that like, oh, I'm going to talk about non-spoiler. No, I don't care. I waited this long, and if I want to do a review of this movie, I want to do a review of this movie, and it's going to be full spoilers. I have to talk about the ending of this movie, and I didn't think another movie can make me cry. But even though I knew that all of these characters, or at least most of them, are coming back, still seeing Tom Holland die on screen, that broke me, man. That broke me hard. Seeing Tom Hiddleston die hit me hard. Seeing Gamora die hit me hard. Seeing T'Challa die hit me hard. Seeing Wanda die hit me hard. Like, it's so sad that there are so many deaths in this movie that it's at some points it's really hard to keep track of. But just that ending alone with Thanos snapping his fingers, I always thought that the way they would end this movie was just like that, and it wouldn't be anything else. We wouldn't see anything else. But having to see everyone die, it's just, you know that they're coming back, or at least there's some of them are, but it just hurt, and it just sucked. It just hurt because, like, after all this time, and you love these characters so much, and you just don't know if they're going to, Star-Lord and Drax and Mantis, Bucky, it sucked. It hurt. Literally, except for the 2 or 3 dudes that were talking throughout this entire movie that were behind us, and that they were just being jerks to be jerks. The entire movie theater after this movie was silent. And after the credits rolled and we saw Nick Fury die, and everyone was just walking up and their heads head low and just like, what have we just seen? And like, me already crying for Spider-Man, even though he's been in Spider-Man for like 2 years, it still hit me so hard because he's so perfect. But I guess I should talk about more, because just giving it a couple hours, like, it made me like, okay, it made me go through a little bit of the mourning stage. I know that these characters are probably going to come back. I know that some of them aren't, which sucks, which hurts. But I know that a lot of them probably are. I know that Spider-Man is probably coming back. I know that Doctor Strange is probably going to come back. I know that Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, Groot, I know that they're all probably going to come back. I know that Bucky and Sam probably are going to come back. I know that. And I can think about that. Wanda is probably going to come back. Getting that out of the way and knowing that they might come back for time travel, I'm okay with that now. It still hurts, but I'm gonna try and process this movie, because the entire movie before this was absolutely And from the beginning of this movie, we get to say goodbye to one of my favorite characters of all time. And this was the first one that hit me hard, because the movie starts with Thanos already destroyed all of Asgard. We don't know if Korg or if and he says, we have a Hulk, and then you have this absolutely awesome fight between Thanos and Hulk, where Thanos just lays Hulk out, and he just beats the living crap out of him so much that he doesn't want to Hulk out throughout the rest of the movie. and then you have Heimdall send him out onto Earth, and then he kills Heimdall, which is like, oh man, you're gonna kill all of our characters. And then the one that it really hurt when he took all the armor off, and then he got the Space Stone, and then right when Loki he looks at Thor and he gives him that look, and he's like I love like that look of that sort of look of I love you, brother, and he tries to kill him, and then he just chokes the life out of him, and it hurt, especially watching Thor 3 so close to this movie. Oh, like it made me feel for Loki. Loki is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I'm sad to say that I feel like this is one of the ones that are gonna stick. Like I really do. Because, amazing!
Really
This
hurts,
movie
man.
was
It
perfect. This movie
And,
was
like,
just.
I was just like in the
I
theater, I was
love
like,
that
that this movie
and then he
is
just
just
spit
a
it.
ride in that
It
doesn't
doesn't need any
It was just
any
it sucked, but
pre-setup,
this movie,
like
a lot of-
exposition.
I know I'm gonna say a lot of it
Maybe
sucked,
there were two
but
or
it doesn't
three
because
handfuls
such a
of
good movie,
exposition
but I'm
scenes,
like, the
with
reason why
Red
it sucks
Skull,
is
with
the characters are dying
Wong in the beginning, and just very
it's
subtle
so good.
exposition
Like, it
scenes,
really
but
is.
And then when we
A
get
lot
to
of it
see
just seems like the
Pepper
story
and Tony, we get to
just
see
going,
and
and
it's just
Pepper and
going
Tony
and
were like,
going,
there's
and
a
I
hint that they
love
might
it
have kids,
because
whatever. I loved
we
it.
waited this
And then
long,
immediately
and
we
all
get
we
to
wanted
Doctor
was just
Strange nonstop.
We get to Doctor Strange,
Thanos
and
wrecking
meeting up for the
everything.
first time. We don't know. He apparently killed half of the Asgardians, and then he blows up the ship. But the one where he's holding Thor's head, and he's saying like,
And then having
your brother for the stone for now,
what the Infinity
and
Stones
Loki
are,
double crosses
and then
boom, we're right in the middle of it, and then you have no idea my excitement, my just joy when I saw Spidey sense on screen, like on a big IMAX screen. Oh, it was so, because then you see him come up, and then you see. As they're all fighting, you see Cole Obsidian smash his hammer onto Iron Man, and then you see just Spidey's head pop out. Like, yes! Like, just so perfect. I loved it. And then we get to see this awesome fight scene between both Ebony Maw, Cole Obsidian, Peter Parker, Wong, and Tony, and they're all going back and forth, and then it's just such a beautifully directed Russo brothers. I cannot condemn you more for that. And I loved every single second of where we just have combo after combo of scene and character. I just loved it. I think going off of my memory, if I can remember correctly, I think the next scene that we jump to is, I think we go back to Thor, or maybe in the Guardians, and then we get to see the first interaction with the Guardians interacting with Thor, and I loved it because we get to see so much of just the witty banter. One of my favorite parts of this movie is like, intimidating Thor. He's like, "You imitating me? Are you intimidating me? Or are you intimidating me?" Like, so great. But again, this is one of my favorite, at least in one of my favorite parts, because I love Thor interacting with the Guardians, but Star-Lord and Gamora's relationship, it was on and off, or we didn't know if something was there until the end of Guardians 2, but then this is one of my favorite interactions of characters throughout this entire movie. There's a lot of
Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange,
and
and
Peter
it's hard
Parker,
to think that there's so many characters, so many storylines all coming together, because these are characters that we all wanted to see forever.
It really is.
And
With
it all comes, they all have to come together
Gamora
and Hulk. And
Dr.
again,
Banner
is telling them, like, we
Vision,
need,
like,
we need to.
I love
no
seeing them
idea what
together.
is coming. Going back to Wanda and Vision, and then I think one of the greatest things was seeing boom, like right out of the floodgate, we see Vision just get wrecked, and we see him get stabbed by I'm blanking on his name, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. It's late, guys, but approximately midnight, and her husband, and they're just fighting it out, and then the scene that made everyone lose it was, or at least one of them was the train going by, and then you just see the silhouette. You just see the silhouette of Captain America, and then you throw the spear, and he catches it, and then he throws it to Black Widow. Again, I am so glad that they got Alan Silvestri to do this score, because Danny Elfman, I love you. You gave me one of the best scores of all time with the Batman. Stop going into other franchises and making pre-existing scores. Just stop. I did not like what you did with Justice League, and at best I call what you did with Age of Ultron passable. But this. I'm not making my voice deeper. Like, no, I'm not. Like, he's kind of like halfway Batman, halfway like God. When Star-Lord was like him. Just seriously get like wrecked by them, and they're all humans. Like, Scarlet Witch helped a little bit, but like Vision was out, and like it was just Sam, Nat, and Cap. Like you guys just got wrecked. Like, I don't like imagine telling Thanos that story. Like, I don't think you guys would come out alive from that. But going over more, I guess if I could think about it again, I loved seeing the interaction with the Guardians again, and then we get to see more of the Iron Spider, because I think after that it cuts right back to like we get to see them flying on a spaceship, and you get to, how you get Doctor Strange captured, and then Iron Man stows away, and then we. Okay, I think I can't go scene for scene because I'm gonna try and like go by storyline. So with Iron Man and Spider-Man, and they're trying to get Cap, and then we have the Cloak of Levitation just showing up there. Oh, I loved it. But they're fighting, and then they finally take out Ebony Maw using the aliens with the Ripley and the Aliens 2 thing. I loved it. And then we get to them going to all the Titan, and we get to see them back and forth. I loved the line of dialogue that's exchanged between Tony and Doctor Strange, where he's saying like, if it comes down to the kid and you and the stone, I'm picking the stone. And then you see how that obviously goes into fruition there towards the end of the movie. But this movie is so good. Bouncing back to which is so cool. We get to see like how like we get right into the heart of a dinosaur actually works. We get the classic Avengers theme. While you have like the secret Avengers team help take out Proxima Midnight, get Marcus Glaive, and it was so awesome to see them all fighting, because like we love Captain and Nat and Sam, and they're all like. And by the end of it, I was like, did these two not like? Seriously, why not? Who cares? It's a Marvel movie. It's a comic book movie. Who cares? I loved it. And we get to see him and Rocket and Groot kind of have it out and trying to figure out how to make their hammer. And then by the time he makes it, before I get to that part, I'm gonna go back to Cap. I just gotta go back to Cap, where they go back to the Avengers mansion, and they have a little exchange between Thunderbolt Ross. And it's them all talking about like we need to arrest them, like Rhodey, you better arrest them on site, like we can't have them here. And then you get the first interaction with all of them back together, with Rhodey declining that, and we get to see Nat and Bruce Spider. We get to see each other for many years. So good. And then we get to see the reuniting of the Avengers with Rhodey, and that officially that they're all on the same side again. And I loved it. And then we get to see them all deciding what to do with everybody. And then we get, I think this is one of the coolest like moments of this movie, was when we get to hear the Black Panther score. And he's talking to Bucky, and then we go more into where they first show up, and then with Shuri trying to figure out that she has to reassemble every single nerve or something, or I don't know what it was. I've only seen it once, but to reassemble every single line of code or something. Hopefully, get Thor's storyline where he's going to go build his hammer. If anyone was going to do it, Wanda is the only one who's powerful enough to destroy the stone if we can't get it out. And going back to Thanos' storyline, he's still collecting all the gems. We get to see him. I believe the next one after the first two is he goes to nowhere, and we get to see the first confrontation between Gamora and Thanos. And this one was one of the ones, because he already took the Reality Stone, and he had to make this whole mirage, which was so great. And then we get to see him turn like Drax into stone and like Mantis into like rubber or whatever, which I really thought they died right there, and that was crazy. I really thought they did. But then we get, I think, one of the most hardest scenes I've ever had to watch, because after you already had the scene with them establishing that Gamora wants him, or not him, Gamora wants Star-Lord to kill her because she knows where the Soul Stone is, and she knows like where it is, and she doesn't want Thanos to know. And we get to see this mirage, and we get to see Gamora kill Thanos, and that she actually does feel for him, and that she actually does semi-love him, and that it was hard for her, and then Thanos is flattered by it. And then we get, I think, one of the most heartbreaking scenes ever, with Thanos like basically touring with Peter and telling him like, go ahead, kill her, go ahead, do it, and with Thanos just sitting right above them, and then having see Peter, Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana are so good in this scene with having when everyone's saying like we have to find a place to go, and then hear the and then like it's just clicks it, and then you see Wakanda, and it's just, and then you see Black Panther, and he really would have done it, and that's so heartbreaking, man. It was so rich in character. One of my biggest fears about this movie was that, without any prior, not needing any big setup, that it would feel like the characters were just there and that they didn't evolve at all. I feel like a lot of the characters, of course there are characters that would have minor roles, but I feel like the characters that needed a good arc got a good arc, and I think this couple really did a good arc, along with Wanda and Vision, and a lot of the other characters as well. I'm very happy how their Russo brothers were able to balance this, especially like upping up the character amount, and I loved it. And then we get to the more scenes of him torturing Nebula to get the answer out of Gamora of where the Soul Stone is, and she gives it up. And this one was one of the ones that I was so excited to see, because we all thought it was a rumor, or not more or less a rumor, but just a hope that we would get Red Skull back one day. And I believe it's 7 years later, and we finally got. He is on a different planet, and he's been safeguarding the Soul Stone and saying that it takes something out of him. And Josh Brolin is amazing in this scene, and I can't say that because throughout this entire movie, one of the greatest credits this movie has is that the CG for Thanos. This is no Steppenwolf. This isn't. I feel like a lot of this is on par with Andy Serkis's Snoke. Like, you can tell, and even more with more facial features, this is Josh Brolin. His performance is so like heartbreaking but evil but beautiful, because you have Red Skull breaking it down that it costs, like they have to cost something that they love, and this was one of the most, like, again, where I was just no, where Gamora is slowly realizing that he does have something that he cares for, and that he has to kill her. And I would really want to tell myself that this isn't how Gamora goes out. I really do, but I feel like there isn't another way, and I feel like if Thanos was able to cheat the Soul Stone to be able to get her back, that would be kind of messed up, because then I guess he wouldn't have the power of the Soul Stone anymore. But that Josh Brolin's acting in that scene was like so amazing, because even showing through the visual effects that I could tell that they really did want to capture all of that performance, because it was so heartbreaking, and having him to like realize that he wasn't the best father, but he still has something that he loves, and that him having the heartbreak that having to choose that over it. And it's so, I just sucks that they killed Gamora. It really does. But that is one of the greatest scenes in this movie, is seeing the semi-humanity of Thanos, and him throwing that humanity figuratively and literally down. It was really heartbreaking, to say the least. But I'm going to go towards more to what I think got one of the biggest cheers out of my entire theater. It was definitely when Red Skull back there, when everyone was already at Wakanda, and Proxima Midnight and Club City had arrived at one of the just so cool, one of the best action sequences ever, and they decided to go to Wakanda. It looks amazing. And then they just have all of these Outriders just invading, and then Black Panther decides that like we need to send them in, and he's got that awesome like chant, and like that chant still gives me chills. And then having to see I just love seeing Black Panther, after how well he did this in his own movie, seeing him leading the charge against everyone, and we all know how, like, that's the king, like, and then you get to see the awesome shot of him running, and he's leading the charge, and you see Cap jump up, and then he's, like, still going, and then they both, like, start tag teaming all these Outriders, and this was so freaking cool. And then you get to see Banner in the Hulkbuster suit. You get to see Rhodey and Falcon in the air. You get to see all these characters. You get the full force of Wakanda. Okoye is there, and you have Shuri trying to extract the Mind Stone out of Vision. Like, dude. And then we get to see everyone fighting, but then I think what I also got was like the yeah moment was when, after you already see Thor got his hammer, and then like Groot makes a handle again. Alan Silvestri with the theme of, you get to see Groot and Rocket and Thor, and it's like dun 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 dun, and you get to see Thor wreck. You get to see him wreck everything in this movie with that Stormbreaker axe, and that is just so. You guys get it, Marvel gets it. I love it. And then we get to see, jumping back over to on Titan, I think again, one of the more better like choreographed scenes out of all the MCU, where Star-Lord and the Guardians meet up with Iron Man, I believe it's Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker, and they have this little fight, and this little fight between them is like, I'm gonna kill him, like I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna kill all of you before I get to find out who Guardian who Gamora is, and they're like, oh, we're all fighting the same guy, okay. And then they kind of have it out, and they kind of discussing what the plan is, and then eventually it cuts away, but we finally get to see the plan. And the plan is that Star-Lord did, which was great, because I've always wondered how they would use Mantis, because Mantis' power is very, very important, and it's a very, very powerful power, but you wouldn't think of it at first. And you see everyone fighting him again, like whether it's everyone just like, and then they all take him down, like Spidey with his webs, and then Doctor Strange with his whips, and then you have, I think you have Drax like his feet, and then you have Gamora, I'm getting my characters mixed up. And then you get Mantis drop on his head, and he's just holding it right there. And she's just holding him right there, and he's holding him at bay. But again, one of the stupider moments of this movie is when, like Peter gets his emotions too riled up, and then they lose again. And then you get those characters, whether it's action, this movie is so good. This movie is so perfect. See that shot they're hearing about for years. Entertaining. So great. But one of my favorite shots is when it's Thanos versus Doctor Strange one-on-one, and you get to see Strange just split up into so many people, and then you have him like throw all these fire whips at him, and then like you see that Thanos, he's just standing there, and he's like, ah, so good. Just loved it. And then when Thanos gets the stone, because he realizes that he has to give it up. And again, one of like the more, oh, no. I really thought they were gonna kill Iron Man. I really did, and that scared the crap. It really did, because you have him, and everyone else is down, and you just have him and Thanos, and then he's just wrecking him. He says like he knows who Tony Stark is, and then going bam, bam, and then bam, and then when he stabs him, I seriously thought, I was like, no, dude, he stabbed him through the heart. Please, no. Do not do that to me, Marvel, please. And then they didn't kill him, and then he gave up the stone. And I'm pretty sure that this is all part of Strange's plan, because at the end of it, he says this is the end game. Because he knows that out of all the possibilities, that he obviously had to give him the stone for that. But, and then we go back to, after he leaves, this fool arrives in Wakanda. Before I talk about what he did, I do want to talk about one of my favorite action scenes from this movie too, was Okoye, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch versus Proxima Midnight, because like you see Proxima Midnight drop down, and you see Okoye, and then you see Black Widow, and like seriously, two of the most just amazing fighters in the entire MCU. And it doesn't help that they are women, and that they have been those staple for strong female characters, whether it's for years as Black Widow, and it's just for the past few months that is just instantly in history as one of the most strongest female characters ever, was Okoye. And then you see them all fight, Oh, I love it. I love that scene. And then you see Scarlet Witch take her out. So great. But the end of this movie where Vision and Corvus Glaive have already had it out, and then it's just him and Wanda, and then everyone's just fighting to keep him alive, to keep Vision alive. And then you see Thanos is just tearing through everybody. Like, everyone is just getting wrecked left and right, and then you see Wanda like holding Thanos back, and then she destroys the stone. Which I was like, there's no way they could have done that. I know they're gonna do the time travel thing, and then like a fucking G, Thanos is like, nope, and then he just goes, and then he gets him back. He pulls him up with one hand, and he plucks it out of his head, just like all of us. Once we saw Vision, we all knew that was happening. And it's sad, but I feel like that was one of the deaths that was easier to take, because we all knew that it is gonna be, like, we all knew that was happening, which I don't think Vision is necessarily dead, because they made such an emphasis that he doesn't need the stone to be Vision, so I don't know, maybe. But, and then we get to the end with Thor. Coming out, and he stabs him with Stonebreaker, and then Thanos is just like, you should have gone for the head. And then, boom! And then he snaps his fingers, and it's just, and you don't know honestly what happened yet. And then it's like his arm is all burnt up, and then he goes away, and then you see Bucky, and he falls. And I was like, no! And then you start seeing everybody. It sucks. But seriously, the one that really hurt was Spidey. The one that really hurt was Tom. Because it's not like everyone else had just like, no, he had the Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Like, and then you see him die in Tony's arms, and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, please don't leave. Like, and like, as a fan, I was like, no. Like, no, you don't do that to me, Mark. No. I knew they were bringing him back. It still doesn't help that I have to see one of my favorite characters of all time, and possibly the best portrayed Spider-Man, die on screen. Like, I know they're coming back. Cap is holding on, he's holding on, but then he still just pushes away, and it still hurts so bad. It brought tears to my eyes, and it really did. And for a while, or not for a while, but for a second, I really thought when Cap said, oh God, or oh no, that Cap was going to. And I know that if Spider-Man gave me tears, I know if Cap or Iron Man went, I would have been bawling. This would have been so hard. But I feel like this movie, and then you see everyone die. And then it ends with Thanos just smirking, looking at the sunset. And then it's just cut to black. And I don't remember, I instantly just went down, like, over my seat, and just was like, I was just in tears. I was like, you guys, you wanted to make a staple in the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you did it. And we still have zero idea what anything of Phase 4 is going to be like, of anything what Avengers 4 is going to be like. And then we get the end tag with Sam Jackson. He got so close to saying his iconic line from, like, Betsy, you just got so close to saying the Sam Jackson line. You know what I'm talking about. But then you see the Captain Marvel logo, and it's like, yes, but you just killed Ray. Oh. Believe me. They really did make it the best one to date. I love the Avengers, and it really is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I feel like this one, it's up there. It's up there. It definitely is my favorite. I think this is, it clearly is their best work. Like, there's no set about it. Like, everything that they've been building to this, and I think this really is Marvel's best work. And I just cannot wait to see what they're gonna do. I cannot believe that we still don't know what the title is for this next movie, and that we have known nothing about it. And part of that makes me mad, but a part of that makes me so happy. Again, we didn't see anything from Ant-Man, anything from Hawkeye except the throwaway line. I'm pretty sure that everyone is gonna come back who didn't die. I think it was really cool though that we had all the characters that we were introduced to I die a lot. But I think it was really cool and really smart of them to leave the original 6 Avengers alive. You got the 4 with Cap, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk alive, but you also kept Widow alive and Barton still out there. So we're gonna have to see, and we're gonna get the OG old Avengers coming back one last time, and hopefully in the next one save everybody. But that's gonna be it. I've been going on this movie for 30 minutes, but this movie deserves it. This movie is absolutely amazing. It is everything I could have ever wanted, and it was worth the 10-year wait. It was worth it, and I cannot believe that Marvel has done something this perfect, this pristine, this grand, this epic. And all I can say, Marvel, is you guys have been a big part of my entire life. You guys have. This movie is amazing. I love this movie so much. This movie is so entertaining, and I honestly think that I can't believe they did it. But after 19 movies in 10 years, Marvel really did hit out the park with their 10th anniversary movie. That's so much movie before I seen it, and now it means everything to me, because this movie is. I've waited 10 years for this movie. I also waited 10 years for Force Awakens, so I feel like it's on that level. I wasn't as excited for this movie. The level of excitement I had was for Force Awakens, and you can tell it's something special. And I just can't be nothing but happy and pleased with everything you guys have given us. And thank you, Marvel. And I only hope and pray that the next 20, or not 20, but the next 10, which should be over 20 years of Marvel Studios, is just as good as this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching for the past 5 months. If you have, for all of my Road to Infinity War reviews, I definitely hope to do more series like this. I am hoping and kind of considering doing a Harry Potter style one of these for the Crimes of Grindelwald. I will definitely one of these days do a Star Wars one, maybe not for Solo, but definitely probably for Episode 9. I love doing this, and I think this is definitely what my channel is probably going to be more of, is just movie reviews. And thank you so much for watching. I've been rambling on so long. This movie is everything I could have ever hoped and dreamed it could be. Thank you so much, Marvel. I'll see you guys next time.